Laser sights can deter threats and aid in quick target identification, enhancing your ability to protect your family, home, and country. Crimson Trace, making laser sights standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
Welcome to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, where a right is always a right, not a privilege.
All right, we are back with you here. We are having a ball. It is a gorgeous fall afternoon. I know it's still hot in some parts of the world. That's okay. Where I am, it is gorgeous. It's fall, and we're thinking about hunting and a lot of other things. But, you know, we're still always talking about collecting and competition and pretty much anything else that has to do with guns. If you'd like to be a part of that conversation, all you have to do is give me a call, 866-TALK-GUN, or call me at Tom Talk Gun. You may, if you're really young, you may not even know about the Civilian Marksmanship Program and what it has done through the years. If you're older, you've heard of them. You maybe have competed in CMP matches. You may remember when the CMP sold military surplus firearms, M1 Garands, M1 carbines, 1911s, etc. Well, you know what, as they like to say, the good old days are back. And joining me to talk about that, what's going on at CMP and this program that they have with 1911s right now is Mike. He's running this program there. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate you having us.
All right, so if you would, I mean, the background and all, but I mean, tell us what's going on. Where did these 1911 pistols come from in the first place?
Well, eventually they all came from the Army. These were being stored at the Anniston Army Depot, and they have approximately 100,000 of them. And last January, they shipped us around approximately 8,000. These were given through a bill through Congress that allowed them to transfer them to us for sale.
Okay, so there's 100,000 of them in the warehouse, and you got 8,000 of them. What's going to happen to the other 92?
Well, depending, each year we should get, the way the bill was written, somewhere between 2,000 to 10,000 for the next 8 years. We were we're able to get all of them. It just depends on what the Secretary of the Army gives us each year.
Okay. All right, and just kind of explain that these are, the military has firearms, weapons in storage that they don't use anymore. They're not issuing 1911s as sidearms. That's been replaced. So they're just surplus sitting there. And I'm not going to ask you to go political on it, but under previous administrations, they would not release these, but now they have been released. So what's the process? Who can get them, and how does it all work?
Okay, it's very much like the way we run the M1 Garand sales, except this time the M1 Garands are sold under public law that was established back in 1996. And when they decided to allow us to dispose of these 1911s, we had to follow a different set. We now have a federal firearms license. So we're regulated also by ATF and, of course, the Congress and the Army on how we dispose of these. And basically it's the same thing as buying a rifle. You have to be a citizen of the United States. You have to belong to a CMP-affiliated club or organization, and you have to have proof of marksmanship training. Then, and the difference, and you have to have an FFL, you have to have a gun shop that we can ship these pistols to for you to pick up. When you submit an application, we have to do the next background check with the FBI. We have to get it proceed before we can ship it to the FFL. When it gets the FFL, you have to.
Let me ask you right there.
Okay.
Now, at what point are they filling out the 4473 form?
When they pick it up from their FFL. They will.
Okay.
It will be shipped to the FFL. Then it's just like any other firearms transaction. You fill out the 4473, and the FFL does another NICS check on you.
Oh, okay, interesting. Just because of the structure of it, that's what has to be done.
Yes. Now it's different with an FFL at a gun shop. You go in, you fill out your 4473, and say for whatever. Say your name is George Jones, which is very common. You go on delay. After 3 days, if you're still on delay, the gun dealer can legally give you that firearm, and then say 2 days later you come back denied. Then they have to turn the paperwork over to ATF, who has to go out and get the firearm back. With us, before we can ship it, we have to have it proceed. If you go on delay, we cannot ship you that firearm. We have to have it proceed.
All right. Good deal. All right, so what's the process? Well, let me back up. What guns do we have? These are 1911 45 automatics. Are they all Colt, or are they different manufacturers?
There's 7 different manufacturers that we've seen so far. These are 1911s and 1911A1s. When the Army told us, hey, we're going to send you 8,000, the Army has classified them in condition codes. A being ready to issue, go to war. B, you can issue it in special circumstances, say you have to be in the States or something. And they asked us which ones did we want. Of course, we asked for all the A's, condition code A's. The rest is condition code B's. And then we've got about 1,200 that came from the Army Museum unit, the historical unit that is at the Anniston Army Depot, and they had around 1,240 that were access to their needs. And they're in all different kind of shapes. And we will inspect and grade them and classify them as a service grade, a field grade, or a rack grade. Then we've gotten, I think we found 2 Union Switch and Signal, which will probably go on our auction site. Any of the rarer ones will go to our auction site.
Okay, and I'm looking on your website now. If people want to go there, it's the CMP. It's thecmp.org.
Yes,
service grade is $1,050, field grade $950, and rack grade $850, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I know there are people who, and you've heard this, people tell me this, well, why would I pay that for that? I can go out and buy a brand new 1911 for that kind of money. What do you tell people?
Well, go to a gun show. I went to one last week, and I saw these are World War II, World War I, and in between firearms. And the cheapest I saw was $2,200. And yes, people say I can get it for $600, whatever. We used the Blue Book of Guns, which is the price guide, and we took below their market value what they listed for each type of weapon grade, so to speak, and based our price off of that. So we're well under market value. And 90% of the ones I've got right now, they've all been through a rebuild. They're all basically brand new.
Oh, nice.
And so,
all right, let me ask you, you got about, 8,000 of these roughly, and right now you're accepting orders, but only until, do I'm reading this right, only until October 4th?
Yes. We put the forms up on the website back in June. We've given everybody 90 days to ensure everything is complete and correct, and we will take from the 4th of September to the 4th of October, we will take the order packets. Now, we may get 100,000 order packets. Right. What that's going to mean is we're going to do this one time. I have 10 people in my shop, and we're handling everything. So it's a lot of work for us.
Wow.
And you may get and all the packets will be entered into a random numbers generator, like a lottery. all the packets will get a number. If we have 6,500 pistols that will be sold this year, we'll go through those numbers. If you're qualified, you meet everything, then you'll get a pistol. Now, say you've got number 12,002. Well, if next year they give us another allotment of 8,000 pistols, you'll probably be in that allotment. We will keep going down that list until there are no more pistols. It may take a year. It may take 2 years. But if you're on that list and we get a pistol, your number should come up.
Okay, so you don't have to, it's not a deal of if you apply this year and don't get it, you have to apply next year. If you apply this year, if you run out of guns, then you could be supplied a gun from next year's allotment. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, sir. We're only taking applications these 30 days.
So it's not going to be like, okay, I mean, literally these 30 days, but not like next year or the next year. This is it.
Yep. Now, if, say, we only get 5,000 applicants, which we're way over that, but say we got 5,000, I've got 6,500 pistols, then we will put them for sale again. And you're only allowed one pistol until all the orders are completed.
That's what I was going to ask you. So one per customer.
Yes, sir. It's like people. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to jump in because one of the things you have to do is you have to belong to a CMP certified club or have shot competitively in order to be able to buy one of these, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to throw this out because I know people are going, well, where would I find that if I don't know? No matter where I happen to live in Louisiana. I'm a member of the Louisiana Shooting Association. A membership in that qualifies you. So if you went to louisianashooting.com, it's $15 to join. So just if you want to jump, if anybody's interested in this, they can run over and jump to louisianashooting.com. Obviously, you can join your state group wherever you are, but if you just don't know where to go, that's one of the options out there. I just kind of wanted to throw that out there, Mike.
Oh, yeah. And then there's other organizations, the VFWs, American Legion, Disabled Veterans, Marine Corps League. If you're active duty, retired, National Guard, reserves, by being a serving member, you're automatically in the club.
Okay.
And
sweet.
if you're law enforcement, federal, state, local, whatever.
And all this information is on the website. It's thecmp.org, right?
Yes, sir. When you pull the website up, there'll be 1911 information, and it's in those instructions. And if you're looking for a club, if you scroll down the first page of our website, you'll see clubs. You can click that, and there's a link in there that you can type in your city and state, and will tell you the nearest organization.
Perfect. I'm really glad we got you in here because this thing's going to cut off October 4th, and that's it. So it's a one-time deal. So if you're undecided, if you're hesitant at all, I would say just go ahead and do it. In my experience, I don't think you're going to be sorry. Mike, thank you so much. Great information. Wonderful program. I'm really glad we can do this.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having us on.
All right, you take care. 866 Talk Gun. Would you buy one of these 1911s? Have you ever bought anything through the CMP program? I would love to know what you got and how the process went. 866 Talk Gun.
Now at LibertySafe.com, you can buy a Liberty Safe at a great price and receive 12 months interest-free payments with 0 down and 0% APR, with some safes as low as $20 a month on approved credit. Peace of mind, lifetime warranty, and in-home delivery service. Go to LibertySafe.com now for 12 months interest-free payments with 0 down and 0% APR. LibertySafe.com.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
This is Jeff with Black Hills Ammunition. Our new rifle ammunition line, featuring Hornady's extreme low-drag bullet design, is a big step forward in long-distance performance. When you want the ability to shoot way out there with accuracy, flat trajectory, and minimal wind effect, our ELD ammunition is the right choice. The high ballistic coefficients and Black Hills Ammunition carry manufacture gives you the advantage. Black Hills Ammunition, the power of performance.
All right, back with you. Tell you what I'm going to do, guys. Pay attention. I'm going to jump to line 2, get Bill out of Reno. Hey, Bill, you are up, sir.
Yeah. Hi, Tom. On those pistols, I'm an FFL, and I was just curious about sales tax. If we charge sales tax in the state of Nevada, or Washoe County here, if they go through me to do the 4473.
Oh, I don't know. But I bet you... you can probably do. I bet it's on the CMP website. I didn't look at that, but I bet it's there somewhere. And if it's not, you can always give them a holler and find out. Okay, who does the sales taxes? That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I bought a Grand several years ago, and it came to my door at my house, so there was no sales tax involved there. But if I'm going to do a 4473, I sure would like to know.
Yeah, exactly. As a gun store, you need to know, am I doing sales tax? And I'm also thinking, it made me kind of curious, of course, there's a federal excise tax on guns. You don't have to charge that. That's built in from the manufacturer. But I wonder if that is going to be a factor on any of these, if that actually gets applied. It probably doesn't really matter to the end user, the person who's buying it, but I'm just curious. Now, I also see a note here. You had a question about the Phil Mickelson comment.
Yeah, my radio cut out just when you were going to say what was going on with Phil Mickelson. Just kind of curious.
Yeah, I would love to blame it on your radio, but it was a technical glitch on our end. So I'll take the hit on that. So let me finish this. In fact, you stay on with me here, because here's the deal. Phil Mickelson last week put out a tweet, or a video actually, and he is wearing his the U.S. Ryder Cup hat, but he is shooting long-range precision at 1,250 yards. And he is just having a ball doing long-range shooting. And I'm thinking, well, that's kind of a cool little deal to open up some of the shooting sports to maybe people that aren't aware of it.
You bet. I think that's great.
I actually, are you a golfer by any chance?
Yes.
We used to do an event we created where you would play 18 holes of golf and then shoot 18 stations of sporting clays. And we had a way to combine the target. Oh, it was a hoot. We had guys driving around the course with shotguns sticking out of their golf bags. It was so much fun.
Great. You can't do that in France.
No, you cannot do that there. No, sir. But I appreciate you bringing it up again. Yeah, no, that technical glitch was on us. We blew that one, but we got it back together. So sometimes this long distance remote stuff jumps up and bites you, but we got her going. And look, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate that. Let's see, Doug, line 3 out of Pryor, Oklahoma. Hey, Doug.
How are you?
I am well. What you got there?
I've got 3 old guns I'd like to get a good appraisal on. One's a model
$5. $5.
Hello?
I'll give you $5 for each of them right now. Sight unseen.
Well, one of them's a model 1876 lever-action rifle. One's a Colt 45 Beasley pistol, and the other's a Winchester lever-action shotgun. So.
Okay. All right. You worked me up on it. $10 each.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to have some bidding going on here, I guess. So have an auction. So.
We're going to have a cup of coffee over this at least.
Yeah.
The question is, okay, what are they worth? How do you know?
Yeah.
Are you wanting to sell them, or are you just doing this for insurance purposes?
Insurance purposes. Been in the family. Well, the lever action rifle, my great grandfather made the land run in Oklahoma in 1889, and when he passed away, they tore his old house down and they found it in the wall of the house. And they don't know. That's all we know. We don't know where it came from or anything. So, kind of a little history on that.
Wow, what a great story, though.
Yeah, and we took it and got it cleaned up as best could. It was in pretty bad shape, and we've had it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just been we've just had it stored ever since, and just kind of want to get what it's worth. So,
well, the kind of the standard reference on all of that kind of stuff is the Blue Book of Gun Values. Are you familiar with that?
Okay, yes, I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
That would be my starting point, and see what they have, and because so much of it involves condition, and that's can be a little bit subjective, and if it's been refinished, it's a deal. But I would start with the Blue Book of Gun Values.
Okay.
If you can't find what you need there, you kind of move into the world of trying to find an appraiser, and that's not always easy. You know what I'm just thinking, what would I do? What I would do is, if I can't find what I need with Blue Book, I would actually contact the guy, Steve Fiesta at Blue Book, and have a conversation with him. I bet he could help.
Okay.
You think that's something you could do?
Yeah. I know it was made in 1876, the rifle, because it's got a less than 1,000 serial number, 900 and something on the serial number.
And that's the Winchester?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, the other thing you could do, and I'm almost out of time, the Buffalo Bill Historical Museum in Cody, Wyoming, they have the Winchester Museum there. They can also research that. They can get you information on it. They won't get you a value, but they can research it and tell you when it was made, who it was shipped to, and some things like that. So contact the Buffalo Bill Museum in Cody, Wyoming. Yeah, they can send you an official letter that gives you background paper on that. Very cool. Great story. I love that. Found it inside the wall when they were tearing down the building. That's outstanding. 866-TALK-GUN. What's your gun story?
This is Milo Lardbottom, Junior Under Assistant Deputy to the Assistant Director of Deputy Affairs for the Department of Homeland Security, with a special message for listeners of Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. We know who you are. We know where you are. You're right by your radio. We have special cameras that can see into your radio. I have a special monitor built into my aluminum foil helmet. We are watching you, so don't try anything funny, Buster.
Yes, sir. Would never try anything funny. Even when I try to be funny, I'm not funny. So there you go. Hey, welcome back. Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in here. Just dial Tom Talk Gun. By the way, listen up. Pay attention. This is your last week to enter. This thing is going to end on Friday, September 28th. This is the September Gun Talk giveaway. Giving away 4 Ruger guns. You got a chance to win one of 4 Ruger firearms: a Security 9, an EC9S, a PC carbine, a Ruger Precision Rimfire. Here's how you enter. Go to guntalk.com/win. That's WIN. Guntalk.com/win. Just go in there and enter, and you will have a chance. It's pretty much as simple as that. Oh, yeah, by the way, don't forget to check out our videos on YouTube, Roku, Amazon Fire, let's see, seems like, Apple TV, and Facebook. We're everywhere. And follow me over on Twitter. I'm putting a lot of stuff up on Twitter all the time. I am at Gun Talk on Twitter. Did you get my the newsletter this week? Talk about, there's probably somebody bugging everything I do now after I wrote my piece. I kind of did a rewind and a reminder of the Fast and Furious program, just as a way of trying to remind people just how low the gun ban forces will go. Kind of kicked it off when I was watching what they're doing to Judge Kavanaugh. I said, I want to make sure people remember what Fast and Furious was all about. Let me give you the 2 to 3 minute synopsis. It's a government program designed because Barack Obama could not get gun control laws passed. He could not get his gun bans that he wanted passed. On the official White House website, it called for the banning of semi-automatic rifles. He couldn't get that passed. So they said, what we need is something that motivates us, that gives us some leverage, that gives us something to talk about. What if, these are the brain children there, what if a lot of guns from the U.S. were being used in Mexico by the cartels to kill people? Yeah, okay, we could make that. We could play that one in the media. That'll work. How do we make that happen? Well, we'll send them down there. What do you mean? So what they did, and I'm not making this up, this is what it was all about. It was about gun control. They set it up. They went to gun stores in the U.S. along the border and said, we are going to require you to sell guns to people who are prohibited from owning them. You go, what? We can't do that. That's illegal. Nope. You got to do it. This is part of our program here, and if you don't do it, we're going to yank your license. So the ATF and the Justice Department forced gun stores to illegally sell guns to people who were prohibited. They knew they were gun runners. They knew they were taking the guns down to the cartels. Do not buy into the idea that this was a gun tracing or tracking program. There was no setup. There was no design. There was never even a plan to track these guns. The idea and the plan was to run thousands of guns to the narco-terrorists in Mexico, and then when the guns were used to murder people at the crime scenes, they would acquire these guns and trace them back to the U.S., and then Rahm Emanuel, Bill Clinton, Eric Holder could stand up and say, see, guns from the U.S. are being used to kill people by the narco-terrorist. Not telling us that, oh yeah, the U.S. government sent those guns down there so that we could talk about this in the media. A few things happened that kind of made the whole thing blow up. In one case, they basically blew the whistle on a couple of gun stores they had forced to do this and leaked their names to the New York Times and Washington Post. They ran stories about them. These are the bad actors. These are the gun stores who are responsible for these guns going down to Mexico. Yeah. And then they overplayed their hand. One of the head guys at the ATF goes into one of these gun stores. I'm not at liberty to tell you which one. He won't release that. And said, now we're going to pull your license. He said, what do you mean we're going to pull my license? I said, well, you're selling guns that you shouldn't sell. He said, what? You guys made me do that. We didn't want to do that. He said, we didn't do anything. What are you talking about? Don't know what you're talking about. In this case, the gun store owner had been around the block a couple of times. He said, Mr. ATF guy, you probably want to come back to the office with me. He said, what do you mean? He says, you need to come back here. This will be worth your while. Goes back there, and the gun store owner shows him video recordings of the ATF agents requiring his people to sell guns to people who are prohibited. At the end of it, ATF guy is aghast that there's actual evidence of their criminality. And the gun store owner says, I don't ever want to hear about this again. When I talk about how low they will go, when this program was first proposed, at least one person, and this is all well documented, I'm not making this stuff, I'm certainly not getting it from Fox News. They didn't really cover it. One of the agents inside ATF said, hey, wait a minute. These guns are going to be used in crimes. They go, yeah. These guns are going to end up being used against U.S. law enforcement officers. They're probably going to end up killing U.S. law enforcement officers. And the response from the Obama administration, whiz kids, was this, quote, unquote, well, if you're going to make an omelet, you have to break a few eggs, which is just a smart aleck way of saying we're okay with some officers getting murdered with these guns if it advances the gun ban agenda that we're pushing. That's how low they will go. We know that hundreds of people have now been shot or killed with the Fast and Furious guns. Hundreds of people killed or maimed. And that will go on for the next 2 or 3 or 4 decades. Never ever underestimate what they're going to do. And we have an election coming up in about, 4 weeks, 5 weeks? If Congress flips, we will get more of this. Simple as that. If and when Congress flips and they get the White House back, this program comes back in on steroids, turbocharged. This is one of those get off your butt moments and get involved in this election. They will literally kill you to advance their gun control agenda. They've already done it. They proved it. When we come back, we'll take your calls, comments, questions, and range reports. 866-TALK-GUN.
Stand for the Second Amendment with Franklin Armory. Their 3-position BFS Gen 3 trigger is one of the hottest products for your AR, HK, ACR, CZ, and B&T in curved and straight variations. In position 3, fire 1 round on pull and 1 round on release. Ideal for both tactical and competition use. Get a 10% discount on everything with the code word GUNTALK at franklinarmory.com.
Built for personal and home protection, the Smith & Wesson M&P 380 Shield EZ pistol features an easy-to-load magazine with load assist button, an easy-to-rack slide, and the M2.0 crisp trigger and enhanced grip texture. With its easy-to-rack, easy-to-pack, and easy-to-shoot design, the M&P 380 Shield EZ is perfectly sized 380 protection. Find out more at smith-wesson.com.
This land, once wild and free, fades now from our memory. But I remember what it was like, what we were like, what we are capable of when we band together. Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. These natural wonders are where waterfowl begin their cycle of life, where the deer and the antelope play, and where we, the people, gather together to see and share what makes the outdoors so great. The time is now to band together with organizations like Ducks Unlimited. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
Founded with the singular purpose of building fine sporting firearms, Kimber creates a handgun for every person and a rifle for every adventure. While embracing modern manufacturing techniques, every Kimber depends on practiced hands for assembly, fit, and finish. There's no compromise in features, materials, or performance. Synonymous with quality, precision, and excellence, and made in America. Kimber is what all guns should be. Visit KimberAmerica.com. That's KimberAmerica.com.
Welcome back to Gun Talk. Let's see. We're going to go to the phones now. Line 4. Tony's with us out of Medford, Oregon. Hey, Tony, range report for us.
Hi. I took my 2 daughters out to the Ashland gun range, and one daughter got her gun for her for Christmas from her husband. It was a 380. My other daughter shot when she was very little. She shot, I guess, 22. She wasn't too keen on going, but she wanted to. So anyway, we get out there, and I brought my Kimber 45 with a laser and a 22 rifle and an AR. So my daughter that had got the gun, she's put, I don't know, two boxes through it, I think, last year. Right. And she had, she put a clip through it, and then we offered it to my other daughter. She goes, yeah, I'll try it reluctantly. So she tried it, and then she kind of liked it. And then I said, well, you got to try this 45. So she tried that, and she liked it because it had a laser. And then we took her to the other range and put her on the 22 rifle. She liked that. And then when it came to the AR, she was a little nervous. But I swear, after the first shot she took through that, her head went back and she started laughing. And she did that for the next 2 shots. And by the fourth shot, she was loving that gun. So I think she's hooked.
Let me ask you, what was it about the AR that had her laughing and enjoying it so much? Do you know?
I think it's because it wasn't what she expected, and it was just makes a cool noise. And
it doesn't kick much.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we had a good day.
That's a great range report. I mean, you kind of brought them along, start them with a little gun, bring them up, and each time you're going, hey, you want to try this? Well, okay, I'll try it. But, I just can see the whole image. And you know what actually was going on there? I'm thinking about it now. When she shot the AR, and her head came back and she starts laughing, it was one of those weird releases of tension that you do, because you're thinking this thing is going to beat me up. I've been told that this is the super powerful AR-15 super blunderbuss assault machine gun rifle flamethrower thing, and you pull the trigger, you go bang. Went, oh, that's it? Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, and the thing is, I didn't really have it sighted in. I haven't had time to do that, so I explained to her, you're not sighting it. You're just shooting it to get a feel of it. Right. And it worked out nice.
Very cool. That is really well done. Thank you so much for doing that. We all need to do more of that.
Yeah, amen.
All right, very good. Thank you for the call, sir. I appreciate that. Let's see. Line 1, Bob's with us. Lewiston, Idaho, just up the road here. Hey, Bob, what you got?
I got a 1876 Winchester in 4560. The gentleman that called in earlier commenting on that particular rifle kind of motivated me to call you and tell you that I took this thing out last weekend and put a few rounds through it, trying to gear up for taking the thing out and try to put a tag on a whitetail this fall.
Now, here's the thing. I know there are going to be people who say, he said 4560, but he really meant 4570. Explain.
It is a 4560. It's only 60 grains of black powder. It's basically the same cartridge case, just a little bit shorter. So.
Yep. And, yeah, it's still shooting a 45 caliber bullet. So you're going to take this deer hunting?
Yes, sir.
So are you shooting iron sights? Or you just put an optic on it, or what are you doing?
It's got a tang sight on it.
Nice.
I figure, last year, not last year, year before, put tag on a whitetail using an AR-15. Just kind of flip the script and go real old school. So.
Okay, you got me there. So last year you got your deer with an AR-15, and this year you're going to use a Winchester 1876, a rifle from 150 years ago or more, with a cartridge that's that old.
It left New Haven, Connecticut in 1886, so.
Wow. That's really cool. That's really cool. All right, do me a favor. When you get your deer, go on our Facebook page and shoot us a picture of it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That would be great.
Definitely.
That is just terrific. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. That is, man, that's really something. Imagine, for those who are not gun people, that's more than a 130-year-old rifle. So last year he used an AR-15, which people say is no good for anything other than massacres, and he got his deer with it. And now he's going to do the exact same thing with a rifle that's more than 130 years old. That's kind of a lot of why we like these things. They're cool, they're interesting, you can do that kind of stuff. You can use the new one, you can use the old one, you can do all these different things with them and have a lot of fun and not hurting anybody. What's wrong with that? 866 Talk Gun. What's your range report? right, and we are back with you. Let me drop down to line 2 with Tori, Spokane, Washington. Hey, Tori, what are you shooting here?
Well, I haven't done it yet, but I got some Spear plastic projectiles.
Right.
And along with it, some blocks of paraffin wax and some cases with the wax in place of the plastic bullet.
Okay.
The plastic projectile. Have you ever heard of anybody shooting paraffin projectiles?
You bet. Absolutely. Bill Jordan, the exhibition shooter, used to do that all the time and powered them with only a primer. No gunpowder in it at all. Just the power. Yeah. And he would take a block of paraffin, and he had I don't know if he had a press or some kind of deal. He could squeeze like 50 rounds that are in a loading block that you'd use for reloading, and press the paraffin down onto them. And then basically you're just making like a little plug or a little bullet, if you will, of paraffin, of wax. Now, let me throw that. I'm going to send out this one warning to you, okay?
You bet.
Don't screw around with this stuff. Treat it exactly the same way you would any other bullet. I know one fool who now is on the radio with you who once sent one of those plastic spear bullets right through a denim jacket hanging on the back of a chair because he thought, well, it'll catch it. It'll be like a net catching this little plastic bullet. No, it'll punch a hole right through your brand new denim jacket. That's what it'll do.
Okay, and that helps me insofar as I'm going to shoot it in my garage and have, now I know to have a sufficient backstop for it.
Exactly, and still wear your eye protection. Don't know how loud it's going to be. I'm not sure about the hearing protection, but absolutely wear the eye protection, okay?
I'm with you. And, I've been doing airsoft as well. Anything just to get my eye working, if you will. Get it where it needs to be on the front sight. And
you bet. Getting trigger time and working on that hard focus on that front sight. It works. Absolutely. Good luck with it, Tori. I appreciate that. Let's see. John in Virginia, line 3. We're going to see if we can get you in here. Go quick, please.
Oh, yes, sir. I was calling about a RIA I have in the 1911 A2 MS, and it was flawless in the 22 TCM, and I put it away. I bought it about a year ago and pulled it out and put the 9mm in and changed the spring and had some trouble stovepiping almost all the time with the 115s. I dropped in some 145s, and it only stovepipes about once per magazine, but I'm still having problems.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I dropped the spring pressure to see if I could get it fixed, and without sending it back, and haven't had any luck. When I got it down to where it quit stovepiping, it started failing to eject the round fully. Right.
Yeah, you're kind of playing with that. One other thing, and this may not be an issue, but I'm just going to mention it to you, okay, is making sure you're really giving it a lot of resistance to that gun, not limp wresting it, really working on it hard. The first thing I would say is just lube the heck out of it so the gun is just dripping, so the rails are just dripping with lube. See if that makes any difference. And you probably are just going to have to find a combination of spring and load that work together because something's going on. But my first thoughts are making sure everything is lubed up a lot, making sure you got a lot of resistance on the frame so that you're not going to get an issue there. Other than that, I'm not sure. If none of that works, then contact the company and see what they say because they'll want to make it work for you. Hey, we're going to move into the after-show version of this if you'd like to join us there. And it is a lot of fun, honestly. Just give us a holler now, 866-TALK-GUN. If you haven't listened to the after show before, grab the Gun Dealio app or listen to it online. I think you will enjoy it. In the meantime, do some shooting. Be careful out there and, hey, take somebody with you to the range.